The United Nations is hosting the biggest climate summit of the year, and it just gave us a new formula for climate change.
Think of the equator as the planet's broker.
Okay, first of all, Jack, last week, loaded. Still feeling it.
Crypto had the worst week of the year.
Okay, but then stock markets had their best week of the year.
Powerball $2 billion jackpot went down.
You had Elon this, you had Twitter that. Jack tried that new sweater. It looked fantastic. I love the way it looked, man.
Meanwhile, the United Nations Secretary General said something truly shocking and captured some headlines last week.
Doesn't take anything away from your sweater, but here's what he said, Jack. We are on a highway to climate hell with our foot still on the accelerator.
Tell us how you really feel.
You can't put that on a tote bag, Jack.
Okay, so he said that at COP27. Brutal acronym, good cause.
COP27, the annual United Nations summit to stop the world from melting beneath us.
COP27. 27th time's a charm.
Well, given the urgency in that aggressive quote, America sent its elder statesman and Captain Planet, John Kerry, to the event.
And here's the plan that John Kerry presented on behalf of the United States.
All right, here it is. It's called the Energy Transition Accelerator.
That thing is a financial plan to create a global market for carbon credits.
Okay, so here's how this would go down. Jack, let's use Pepsi as the example here. Let's say Pepsi wants to get involved in this Energy Transition Accelerator to save the world.
All right, so Pepsi's issue is that they're pumping out a bunch of plastic bottles, which are made by refining oil.
Well, Pepsi wants to go carbon neutral. It wants to be like a good soda company, but it can't cut the bottles and still stay in business.
I mean, Pepsi has to make bottles. So with this plan, Pepsi would buy carbon credits to offset their carbon footprint from those bottles.
Which means paying money because it's using so much plastic.
And the money that Pepsi paid for those credits, that would go to developing economies to build clean energy projects like wind turbines.
Ipso facto, that is the transition of energy in the Energy Transition Accelerator.
It's a simplified plan we just described, not a perfect plan.
No, it's not.
But it has some big backing.
Microsoft, Bank of America, Pepsi, Jeff Bezos' Earth Fund, they're into it.
She's into it.
Exactly. So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies over in the entire world?
Here's a new way to think about climate change. Northern debt, Southern credit.
Okay, besties, north of the equator, that's where the most developed, wealthy economies happen to be.
But centuries of humming factories up north is responsible for almost all the carbon in the atmosphere.
All right, on the other hand, Jack, south of the equator, that's where we get the less developed, less wealthy economies of the world.
They're not nearly as industrialized as the north, so they've contributed less to climate change.
Which means, Yetis, we have a new way to think about climate change as a financial formula.
The global north has most of the money, but also most of the carbon debt.
While the south doesn't have the money, but it has the carbon credit.
Credit, debit, like two sides of any financial deal, we have a clear split in the world.
And right in the middle, you got the equator, which is like brokering the whole thing.
If a global climate deal goes down, it's probably going to require northern debt and southern credit.
The financial framework for handling climate change.
Thanks for T-boying with us. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel for Pop Biz every day.